you may have a lot of stuff you want to unpack in your class, but a shorter title is probably best. If you are thinking about focusing on a particular question within a topic or theme, you might want to present the question as the title of the class, just to kind of that perks them up like, ooh, what are we going to be doing about that question? And then it gives them a kind of a hook. And that's, you have several hooks here in marketing a course like this, because it won't be the type of thing where they can ask their friend, hey, which class did you take and was this a good class? Or they can't ask their advisor or even the advising office which one is best, because in most cases the courses won't have been taught before, and really the only way to market your class is through this advertisement essentially. So I've done quite a few for honors. I've also, got some other examples, but we did have those questions that Wendy had kind of put together for us to consider. And I wanted to know if you had anything you wanted to kind of jump off from any of those questions. But now that we're in this room, I don't know if we have access to it. It left with the other room from what I can tell.
I have it.
You have it? Good. All right, yay. Or is it in the chat? Okay.
Yep, Erica just put it up in the chat too.
Good. All right.
I do think there's something like alliteration always works well too, of like, myth and...
Yeah, I mean, some of the titles can be like catchy that way. And if it sounds like something that they may know a little bit about, that can, it alludes to something that they're into. But you also have to, and this maybe goes to Shauna's question, you're walking a fine line, because if it's too cutesy, if it's making a bad dad joke or something, they just don't, they're like, nah, that's not for me. So you really do have to kind of go for brevity a bit, and away from the typical language that we're used to, intro to something or other, where we get locked into our academic language, what the department wants, what the what SUNY Central wants. This really is kind of advertising what you're excited about for the class.
I thought about calling mine "He's Only Mostly Dead."
That's a good one. or you know, what?
What is yours on?
My class is on theater and the pandemics, plural. So looking at it in terms of epidemics, climate change, different atrocities that we dramatize. And so,
you're using that book, right?
Which book?
The Station, what's it called?
Oh yeah, Station 11. Yeah.
Oh, that's a great Canadian wrote that.
I know. Yeah, I'm starting with that as the framework and seeing where we go, and they get to make their own pandemic theater companies.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, so guess what? I still can't open this. I think it's blocking me for some reason.
I had to copy the link and put it in an email and email it to myself.
Oh my goodness.
But it's
okay. That might be why. All right, I found it. I did that. Thank you. And now it's all different colors too. So what common information should all the seminars have, and what does not need to be in the seminar description? And that's where I think you don't need to say introducing you to. That's going to be kind of embedded in the class itself. It really is. And I left this out just to give you a sense. This is a liberal arts college here in New York. I'm not going to tell you which one, just so you don't have any bad feelings about it or something. You don't hold it against the titles. But these are really, and all students are required to take the first year experience seminars. So they have a class called Sleep from A to Z, Statesmen and Tyrants, Buddhism, Travel and Trade, World Turned Upside Down, The Color of Justice, Emerging Diseases. You know, most of these titles are kind of similar to some of the ones that we have in the honors program. Why We Work, you know, you don't want to overload the title. It's got to be somewhat different and interesting. But if you, our tendency as academics is almost that conference. You know, so one of the reasons why I know Wendy had wanted to do this, and her and I had talked about this in the past, was when I made her write a blurb for honors, and I kept telling her it was too long.
Hey, maybe one way to think about it while we're, oh, I'm sorry, Tracy, I cut you
Well, I
off.
was just going to say, you know, and so you're absolutely right. Students will, it's like advertising, you know, a
Mhm.
product. You're going to stop after just a little while. So I think that's a great length to get it going. You know, if we see that students are having more questions as we get along, then maybe a little bit longer. Elaine.
I'm thinking maybe like this, I've done pitches before and I hate doing it. I like really hate it. It's like my least favorite part of writing doing a pitch. But maybe we should think of it in your head as a tweet. Oh, really? I mean, because a tweet,
Yeah.
whenever I'm Twitter, I'm like, oh my God, I can really whittle this down because I have to. Maybe that's just one way of thinking about it.
Yeah.
Well, I would say somewhere, because Twitter is still pretty short. We do have to give them, we want a description, but we also want to engage them. And that's the balance you have to strike, right? They want to know what this is, but you also have to encourage them to want to take it. And I think that's why in other ones that I've read from other campuses, you can tell that what they're being told as the writers of these descriptions is, you know, what are you going to investigate? How are you going to get them, you know, kind of locked into exploring more? And you'll see a series of questions.
So to go with this is my title, which I'm like, I don't know.
I
Is
love
that
it.
interesting to an 18-year-old?
I love it.
I think it is, but it may be your kind of subtitle, because
It does have a colon in it.
I know. So what's going to happen though is that whole thing can't go in banner. That's what Elaine was talking about. And so students will probably only see the first part, the show must go on. And that might be enough, because it's kind of like, what the hell does that mean? Right? And then they'll go further, and then they'll see the whole title and really, you know, get the description.
Yeah. But I do feel it's kind of lengthy. I'll just say that.
I think that secondary title's fine.
Mine's similar.
Yeah, it could have-
It's the same way, Shauna. I have
Yeah.
the main title, but then then the rest isn't going to fit on banner.
My original title was A Pandemic Walks into a Theater and Says, Go on.
I like it.
I feel like I'm playing the Poconos or something. Right?
Well, you know, and they're going to like a little bit of that, but some of it's going to be, you know, like, what? I test things out on my daughter. It's just kind of like, what does this sound like? And she'll be like, what the hell is that? Which might not be a bad thing, right? What the hell is that? Is I want to read at least another line to see what it is, or
Right.
that sounds boring. That's
Yeah,
hard.
what the hell is that is way better than no response.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So I will, you know, what I'll do is we move forward and we get closer to these things happening. I'll start sending you, you know, make a doc of titles, some blurbs, so you can see kind of what's out there in the world, and think, you know, this actually takes precedence in some ways over the rest of the course, because we're going to have something to put in a catalog sooner than we're actually getting the whole course. So it can still be kind of amorphous, your course, as long as you have a description that we can put in the catalog.